Welcome to the Crypto Project. Come join us on a journey unlocking financial freedom through crypto. We're live and we're super excited about today.
How we doing today? How you doing? Packers got a win. It's exciting,
right? That is super exciting. It's go ahead.
I was just gonna say not quite as exciting for me personally as the market seeming to finally start to turn green, but
it is nice. It's I've been up in the North Woods as I was last week, and kind of got raccoon eyes from playing a little fishing game, playing throw 10,000 giant casts into the water and hope a muskie bites it. But it was good, very good. Why don't we jump right in with kind of looking at this market? What are you seeing on your screen right now?
The intro still.
Oh, right. There we go. Did that change anything for you? No,
not yet. Nope.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, while you're working on that, we'll just kind of start hitting on this a little bit verbally. But yeah, let's jump into the market recap. One thing we're gonna do here at the Crypto Project is we're gonna start bringing you guys weekly kind of cap shows. So we want to recap what happened that week, any of the big news that came through, talk about that, maybe some implications it might have. And then we're going to get into some picks that we think have some potential for some big gains this week. So we're still on the intro page there.
Yeah, I'm still trying to find out how to do it here. It's suddenly giving me fits.
Yeah,
But keep going. I'll be right with you.
Gotta love technology. This is, I feel like, a constant battle. So anyways, market recap. Lots of red this week. Obviously, there's been a lot of news that's kind of fallen in the FUD category, whether it be Evergrande, the China ban, things of that nature. That's really led to some red. But you can see here, that's not to say that there haven't been some projects that have really done well this week. Some of the bigger names that have done well: Tezos, Luna. I think Uniswap has done about 10%, Elron. So some of this is including today's performance, which we've seen some big moves today, just on the daily. But as you can see, most of this is red. Lots of negative returns in the last week. The market really cooling off and kind of reacting to some of that FUD.
Yeah, and that's some of what we want to look at today. Kind of what are some of the reasons that we're looking at a red screen when seemingly we were on an uptrend. We were a lot of green candles, portfolios growing. Everyone was just happy to look at their accounts, their exchanges, and see what's happening. And then suddenly we have this again, like it's a constant reiteration of the past. And want to just look down at some of these, I guess, big gainers, or even if we look even for the day, we're looking at the week here, but for the day we have Uniswap up 33%, Sushi Swap up 23%, XDC, which is a big gainer for the week, but it's up to 21%. Compound, Aave, all these are up in double digits. So the big projects, and that's one of the things when you invest money in good solid projects and there is a dip, the reason you hear the phrase buy the dip is because the good solid projects are going to come back. No, I don't know all these projects. I like Credit Coin. I don't know anything about Credit Coin and whether or not it's going to bounce back. But you look at most of these coins in the beginning or the top end of this daily recap, and there's almost every one of these names you're going to know: the Algorand, the Icon, the Harmony, the Pancake Swap, FTX, and FTX for who was it? Not Aaron Rodgers. Who's the
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady was shilling FTX today on the Packer game. Holy cow! It was.
Yeah, I mean, UFC was crypto.com is a huge sponsor in the UFC. I mean, they're in the Octagon. I was watching the fights last night, so it's definitely it's coming mainstream. I mean, one of the biggest ones I'm seeing on the daily is Ethereum. It's up 10% today.
Yeah, that's awesome.
For our number 2 leader, one of the biggest boys out there. That's a huge gain. It seems like it's been kind of sleeping right around the high 2000s, and it feels like it's going to start really. I think it's going to start waking up and taking off here soon.
Yeah, I would love for it. I have a lot of Ethereum in my portfolio, and it would be great for it to start moving. And why don't we just keep moving and let's just start looking at some of the stories from the week. We're going to start with some Cardano stories. And again, when I'm not on the road, this will be a lot easier. But we're going to make it work. So this is actually really interesting, I thought. And this just came. They're having this Cardano summit in Laramie, Wyoming, and so all the Cardano crew is out there, and they're announcing just a few hours ago that Cardano is going to begin to design this new, or at least this new stablecoin, Djed. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's going to begin to run on Cardano. So that just adds everything to this whole space. You have anything you want to jump in on that?
Yeah, I don't have anything on the stablecoin aspect of it. I think there's a lot of activity really happening with Cardano, and that's really encouraging to see. The joke with Cardano has always been like some other projects, it's like, well, it doesn't work, or it works well, but it's got some issues. Well, with Cardano, it was, well, it's not even there yet. We don't even have a product. And it's really encouraging to start to see an uptick in partnerships and activity on Cardano. I think that really speaks well to progress being made and steps being made to move that whole project moving forward. So I think it's super exciting to see. I think this summit was a great idea to really get people visibility to what's going on in the project.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of kind of the Apple summits they have, where they kind of announce the new iPhone or what have you. But they did make a lot of big announcements. And what's interesting about the Djed is it's a logarithmic design as opposed to kind of having reserve design. So it's as is with everything Cardano. It's kind of on the cutting edge of things. Let me just look at this next story, and again, it's super interesting what and it would be even more interesting if it was more seamless to do these things, but we'll get there. But again, Cardano has always been kind of front and center, saying we're kind of the green blockchain, we're the green guys on the block, and kind of give a little FUD towards Bitcoin maximalists. But they're partnering with Veritree, which they're claiming that they're going to be full carbon neutral blockchain, and this partnership is in part to restore our planet. It's really going to here's the key to it. They're going to register all its global land restoration efforts on the Cardano blockchain. So Cardano itself isn't actually going to fix the planet, but they're actually partnering with the people who are fixing the planet and as a blockchain saying we're going to remain carbon neutral. And uh, I I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, but for me, part of what I love about just blockchain technology, about crypto, is really it's, and we talk about freedom at the front end of the show, but really it's giving people freedom from fiat, from interest, from even government control at some level. And I think we human beings are meant to be free, and it's I'm super excited about kind of some of these type of projects. I'm not
Yeah,
sure the
I
full
think
end. Go
this
ahead.
one's really interesting. This is, I think some people might think this is like a partnership in terms of like Cardano implementing something as like part of its like foundation as a project, whereas it's more of a partnership with these guys to use the blockchain technology to help verify the quote unquote greenness of their business. I think VChain has done something very similar to this in terms of a company that does like ocean removal waste.
Yeah,
I think the big takeaway for me on that one is just more use adoption for blockchain technology is always a positive thing. I think it's a very exciting way to help provide that verification, that proof of work for these companies that do the green services, whether they're doing land restoration or ocean cleanup or emissions reduction, things like that. Anytime you can give and tie that to the blockchain, you have this proof of work that, hey, we're doing what we say we're doing. And
yeah,
that's going to give companies a real big pitch and a selling point for them to go out and say, hey, we walk the walk.
yeah,
We do what we say we're going to do. And you get rid of some of that hesitancy of, is this just a business trying to make money? What might be going on there?
yeah. And
Yeah.
Veritree is saying they're going to plant, excuse me, 1 million trees, and part of what Cardano is able to do is verify that on the blockchain. Exactly what you're saying. So
Yeah,
yeah,
really cool stuff. And this one I was looking at a little bit myself as well, and just them partnering with Dish Network and Chainlink. So it's really, I think it's two separate
totally
kind of
separate
initiatives.
things. Two things
Um,
going on.
the first one is Cardano partnering with Dish Network. This is huge, in my opinion. Dish Network is a massive company that they also own. I think it's T-Mobile and maybe like Virgin Mobile, I believe. So they
Yeah,
have a huge stable of customers that they have. So I think this is going to be a really, really interesting use case for them to be able to kind of integrate the blockchain into Dish and see what they're able to do for their customers. Me personally, I'm a little bit jaded, maybe, I guess. I think the whole kind of old television model is dying.
yeah, for sure.
I think it's getting replaced by subscription based services. So this will be really interesting to see what Dish is able to do. They've talked about a little bit of kind of revolutionizing how people consume media through the blockchain using Cardano. What are you thinking about this one?
But what I like about this is that they're reaching out to Dish Network's base of customers and helping more people come into blockchain cryptocurrency. I just think it's a great on road. So it's going to give people this taste, and maybe it's just even like Aaron Rodgers saying FTX cryptocurrency, you got to get into this thing. Just that makes people go, oh wow, I heard it again, and now again my dish provider is now on the blockchain. What does that even mean? And it's gonna, I think, just bring more people into the space and begin to, just that reticular activating system. You start hearing things and then you hear it again and again and again, and then you start to investigate it. So I think it's nothing but good for the whole space, and in particular it's got to be a great partnership for Cardano.
Yeah, totally agree. When you have these associations with really well established brands, it just provides credibility to crypto for the masses. And I think that's something that crypto's historically had to fight. I think they're overcoming it with just proof of work, being able to show the gains, show the opportunity that's there. But it's nothing but good. I totally agree.
Yeah. I mean, Cardano has so much news this week, and I mean, just the fact that it's coming out with a stable coin, that's like an hour old. But this has obviously been a couple days. But again, they're partnering with Chainlink, and it says here Input Output, which is Cardano's parent company, has also announced that it is partnered with Chainlink. This partnership is geared towards helping Cardano developers to develop smart contracts for secure, decentralized finance applications. So, really, Cardano's bringing their technology into what Chainlink's already doing, and I think it's just a win-win for both projects, both Chainlink and Cardano. I, one thing, and maybe you can comment on kind of this partnership, but also why you think Cardano's price has kind of stayed even dipping a little in the midst of, I mean, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 announcements that are all massively positive with great implications, but yet the prices are moving.
Yeah, it's really tough for me to put my finger on it exactly. I think a lot of it is the ramp up to smart contracts being launched on Cardano. There's so much hype around that. Cardano pumped so much. I mean, it's been like in the last 90 days, Cardano went from like $1.30 to at its peak like $3. And it was already like a top 5 market cap coin.
Right.
So I think there's just already been so much growth there that you can't have unlimited growth. But I could see this being more like a Solana kind of path that it's following, where I feel like Solana went from where it was at like $30 and then it ran up to like 80 and it cooled off for a bit, and then it ran up again to like I think it peaked at 210 maybe, and then it settled back down in like the 150 range.
Yeah.
So I would give it a little bit of time. I think this is all good news for Cardano. I think this is also very recent. This has all happened kind of this week, and I think a lot of people have already made money in Cardano and kind of exited it. I know I did unload a portion of my Cardano holdings kind of right around, I think it was September 12th at like the 260 range. And I bought back in at maybe like the 230. So not much change there, but was able to load up on a little bit more.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, because you can see back in September 2nd, we're up to like 310, 311 range, and now we're down in 220, 224 right now. A lot of room for it to grow, but really with so much emphasis and so many great projects coming out, at least partnerships with Cardano, I really expected maybe some of this to turn around, and maybe it is right now. We've kind of slowly been moving up, kind of a consolidation time for Cardano, and I expect really in the coming weeks for it to really kind of start pumping back up again.
Yeah. To me, Cardano was always the coin that was like overvalued relative to like what it had shown. I think the promise was already there, but they did such a great job marketing it. And Cardano has a crazy loyal community. They have people who just are diehards about the project. They believe in it. And I think it's like one of the few altcoins people heard through like a lot of celebrities and stuff like that. Um, and so I think it kind of pumped up the price a little bit artificially relative to what they've accomplished as a project. And I think maybe now we're starting to see them catch up in terms of projects that validates their price a little bit. And now I think they're going to start seeing some gains as they continue to move forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think Charles and his team, they're not only geniuses at creating and building a community, but I think just the way they do so much work on the front end to prove that it works, as opposed to just get it out into the marketplace and then fix it on en route. They kind of do all the R&D in the front end, and then when they launch, we're not going to have these 9 or 19 hours of silence like we did from Solana, and that's part of their kind of breakdown as of late. But let's move on to kind of the next story here with China. And China's been all over the news this week, and this is huge. This the headline is China's Lehman Brothers moment, Evergrande's crisis rattles economy, and this isn't a direct correlation with the cryptocurrency, but because it's such a huge market, and if it shakes down as it possibly could, it's not only going to affect all of China's market, but it's obviously going to come and affect what's going on here. As Lehman Brothers, something like 13 years ago, just crashed all the economies. So it's essentially it's a real estate company that has $300 billion in debt, and their debt is due. Today's Monday in China. Today's Monday morning. It's, I don't know, 10 o'clock in the morning there, and they need to pay either today, and they have 1 day grace, which is tomorrow. Both days, I believe, in China are holidays, so I'm sure there's all kinds of meetings going on where people are trying to cut deals and keep this afloat. And probably the big overarching question is Beijing, i.e. the government of China, going to step in and save them to stabilize their economy?
Yeah. I am not a Chinese market expert by any means, a very long shot from it. However, I think if I had to guess, what's more likely to happen is I think China is going to step in to some degree. They're not going to just let this just fall. And this is going to have, when I was reading up on this, a lot of people have been talking about contagion effect and where is this going to spread and what industries is this going to impact. This is a major, major player in China. So I think they're going to step in and help, but I think that they're really going to target that focus in terms of help to try and help benefit the Chinese stakeholders, if you will, the most. So there's a lot of international people that are going to be left holding the bag that are going to be liable for this. Like BlackRock is one, HSBC.
Even Tether is put out a statement today saying we don't have any paper with these guys, but the people that they do have paper with, I'm sure, have some stake in this if they're coming from Asia.
Right. And so the trickle down of this is just one we're going to need to keep our eyes on. I think it's not a good thing. That's for sure. This is definitely going to have a negative effect in some way, shape, or form. And we've seen that crypto generally is tied to market factors that are out there. COVID-19, the market took a hit. When the markets take a downturn, there's less money available to be put into cryptocurrencies, which are more volatile assets, and we could be in for a negative impact here.
Yeah, I think it's just interesting, and this article is massive, and we're not going to go through the whole thing, but I mean, look at their orderly protest. There's like 6 people sitting on the sidewalk and in protest, and they've got all these guys. I've spent a lot of time in China. I wouldn't say a good understanding, but certainly an understanding of some of the culture, and just even for this is massive. Just even if it is only 10 people protesting, the fact that there was a public protest in China is there's this saving face, and I have a feeling the government's going to step in and really kind of make this go away quickly, because they want to save face in front of the world who's now staring at them. But yeah, what you said, we need to keep an eye on this. This in the coming days is going to have a huge implications, possibly, or the Chinese government's going to step in and kind of make it go away a little bit. And I kind of hope that's what happens, because I don't want
and China's printing an unreal amount of money. But speaking of China, they've banned cryptocurrencies. What is this, the 3rd time now?
Well, it goes back to 2013. They do it maybe every 6 months, I think.
13, 17 this year, every 4 years. I have read a few things that like this ban, quote unquote, is the most stringent yet kind of thing.
Yep.
This is fun to me. I'm not overly concerned about this. I think that legislature and governments right now are against crypto because they can't control it. They can't benefit from it. It's the chance for me and you as the little guy to get a leg up,
Yep.
and them not to have a say in it. And so they don't like that. And but to me, it's definitely noteworthy for sure. But to me, this is not something where I'm selling any of my portfolio is because I'm concerned about this.
No. And one of the things they haven't said, and it says here, China, however, didn't ban possession of digital currencies, which would um, obviously cause greater concern in the market. So they're putting some stop gaps in. Ultimately, they want their own cryptocurrency, i.e., so they can. There's a social credit system in China, and if you can control where people are going to have access to all their finances, to be able to turn it off with a flip of a switch would obviously be helpful.
Right.
But yeah, again, I think 100% what you said. FUD, not going to sell anything because of this, but the market did take a dump because of it. So moving on, we've got Twitter. This is actually, I think, pretty exciting. We've got the man here, Mr. Dorsey. Do you want to jump in on this?
Yeah. So this was hinted at a while ago. There was rumor that this was coming, so this isn't a surprise to anyone. But Twitter basically enabled tipping services using Bitcoin. So this is, I believe, only available on Apple right now. I'm on Android, so I've not been able to check it out and try it personally. But everything I've heard is good things. It seems like it's a pretty intuitive and seamless process. To me, this is huge because this is once again, we look to these big companies and these companies we interact with on a daily basis, such as Twitter, when you're scrolling through your feed, when they form these partnerships and enable this with Bitcoin, this is a vote of confidence for crypto that once again takes back one of those layers of concern and apprehension for the masses.
Yep.
So once this is super positive news, it also announced that they're working on NFT verification,
Yep.
which to me this is incredible. This is the much bigger part of the story, honestly, than being able to tip with Bitcoin. So it's currently in process, but the thought is when you have NFTs, sure, on the blockchain I can prove I own it, but I can also just rip off anyone's NFT and copy paste it, put it as my avatar, my profile picture, or whatever it might be. But
Yep.
if Twitter is able to pull this off and add this NFT verification, it adds another layer of um, validation and exclusivity, and it's really going to promote the value of some of these NFTs as kind of like a social status. I think this was super cool.
Yeah, I think Jack Dorsey has um, a real belief in Bitcoin, and he's one of these that believes in detaching from fiat, and I think detaching from government, and particularly government control. One thing that is interesting, and I've looked into some of this just on the surface, but there's the Bitcoin maximalists will say that this is a second layer um, kind of fix when it should be a first layer reality. It should be not going to second layer, but just using Bitcoin itself. So there is a little contention within the Bitcoin, I guess, for lack of a better word, the Bitcoin maximalists that live and die on Bitcoin. And I honestly go back and forth on what I believe and what I think about Bitcoin. Although I'm 100% sure that Bitcoin is going to be around in not only 5, 10, but I think in 100 years, as long as we're all still here. But um, I think this is a continuing story. I think the authentication of the NFTs is really going to be massive. They're trying to work all that out, and how does it work, and how does it integrate, and how do you seamlessly do all this? But they're working on it, and they're saying we want this to be part of it. And just the tipping service, like you can I watched another content creator. I can't remember his name, but he demonstrated tipping. He was sitting in Chicago and he tipped a guy in I think El Salvador at a Starbucks. He just reached out and tipped him on Twitter, and that's crazy. That's
Yeah,
amazing that
that's so
we can
cool.
start moving money around on something that everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people have a Twitter account. So it's I'm super stoked about this.
Yeah, this to me is like Venmo for the world almost, if you wanted.
But cheap and quick.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's like a different ball game. It's not the same ball game as before. But one last story, and this is really something that you saw, and this is Fantom.
Yeah, so I don't bear with me and don't crucify us for if we butcher the name. If it's Artion or Artion, no idea how to say this, but so this is a project that's really led by Andre Krohn. He created Urine Finance, and so there's a lot of credibility already there. And he really looked at the current. So OpenSea, if you guys don't know, had a little bit of a scandal the last week or two. One of their employees was like front running some of the NFT projects. Whenever it hits like the main page on OpenSea, they tend to pump. And so he knew what projects were coming to that front page, and so he would scoop up some of these pieces before and then flip them once they hit the main page for a profit. And so there's a little bit of backlash there, a little bit of maybe insider trading, if you will. And so this project is on Fantom. It's fully decentralized. It's open source. There's no commission, whereas OpenSea takes, I think it's 2.5% commission. So his vision was OpenSea is great. There's just a few aspects of it that really suck. One, it's centralized. It's controlled by an interested party. So that's not good. Two, it's expensive. So it's on Ethereum. So it's expensive to mint. They charge a commission. And so he basically was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do exactly what you guys are doing. I'm going to just do it better. And so he's encouraging forks. This is open source. He's saying, hey, take this, use it as you want, take it and develop it into something for your project. It's currently on Fantom, and I think the mint cost right now is literally one Fantom, which is like $1 or something. And they have plans to integrate with Ethereum, Avalanche, Polygon, Arbitrum, other things. So I took a look at it. It's cool. I don't know that there's really enough projects on it right now. I think there's quite a few NFTs on there, like maybe 50,000 plus. So there's probably some opportunity. But for me personally, this is more just a really noteworthy development and something I'm keeping an eye on as I've just started to kind of dabble my toes in the NFT space.
Yeah, I really like this last piece, kind of an NFT bridge that's coming, so that there'll be interoperability between different networks. So very exciting stuff. What I mean, to me, we look at these kind of some of these stories in a week, and honestly, we could spend 2 or 3 hours just talking about this week's stories. And today we highlighted obviously Cardano because they're having this big shindig down in Wyoming, but China, Cardano, we have Fantom, Twitter bringing Bitcoin. I mean, this week is just, again, the whole world is turning their gaze towards cryptocurrency. And if you're here listening to this channel, you are in the very ground floor. This is a financial freedom opportunity for you, for your family, for your friends. I think there's not been anything like this for over 100 years since the inception of really the stock market. There was some huge opportunities like there are today way back then, but this is really, this is the time. I mean, holy cow, what a great time to be alive. I'm super pumped about what we have really before us.
Yeah, it's extremely exciting. So, speaking on all that positivity, we have a little bit of a friendly wager, if you will, a little contest that
Bring it on.
we'd like to do. So, I think we each have a pick, or maybe two, if you do have it, for a little weekly contest. So, we're going to keep track of this. We're going to invest this. We'll just start with, I don't know, we'll call it $100, and we'll see where this goes. But What's your weekly pick? What do you got for me?
Well, I want to just say this. What the reason we're doing this isn't just, I mean, part of it is because there's a little gamesmanship between us, but part of it is to demonstrate that if you just took $100 a week and were diligent in trading it, we believe that you're going to have a significant return on that money. So some of that we want to demonstrate that, but also we are a little competitive. I know Hans is anyway. I'm much more peaceful than Hans. Not at all. And um, yeah. So why don't you shoot your pick? Because I honestly, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ones a total Djed pick, but I I haven't picked yet. Although I
Okay, I mean,
the next
that's
3 minutes.
a little game in the system here. I did the intro. You were supposed to pick first. You're now waiting to see where I go, so you can say, okay, well, he's going really risky. I better follow suit. So
See,
that's fair.
I'm
I will
racing you.
say, sure, I'm all for seeing what gains we can get, but ultimately, at the end of the day, all I care about is beating you. So
Oh, good.
that's the goal. So for
Yeah,
me,
never gonna.
uh, this week, I'm gonna walk the line a little bit here. I'm gonna go for a little bit of a bigger play, a little bit more
Same.
degeneracy involved here. I'm gonna go with Radium. So this is a project we've actually talked about previously in a previous video. So I encourage you to go check that out. To me, Radium is built on, it's in the Solana ecosystem. I feel like Solana has been cooling off for the last few days, like maybe a week or two since it really pumped up. I think Solana is going to start taking off again. And I think Radium is one of those projects that's really going to benefit from that. It looks like we've made a lower low. So I think we're going up. I'm going for more upside here. That's really the play. So I'm going to go with Radium.
Radium, huh? Dang.
Yep.
I had
And we got to make
zero.
this really official. So I'm going to, the price right now, oh no, it's 1016.
Just pumped.
It's up 8% on the day, and that's pretty recent. So anyways, 1016 Radium, lock it in. That's what
Lock it in.
I'm going for the week.
I'm gonna actually go with gosh, eeny meeny miny mo. I'm gonna go with Flow. They've 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 um they've dumped 23% over 7 days, 47% over since August 30th. But they've got Crypto Kitties, Dapper Wallet, NBA Top Shop, UFC, Dr. Seuss. Are you kidding me? Like, this is one of those projects I think that could really take off. So I don't know what the price is. Are you gonna check that out for me?
Yeah. 1613. It's locked in. You're up 2.2% on the day. So you already have an advantage. I've already burned some of my growth.
All right, good. Well done. I like that. So
All right.
what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep track of this on a weekly basis, and we'll keep it going, and we're gonna pretend like we just kind of, I guess, dropped this 100 in Flow and Radium, and we're looking at putting real skin in the real game, so it's not just a fictitious game, but a real thing. But we're still trying to figure out how we're actually going to do that, and if this is that, and maybe this is just fun. So we're still figuring that piece out. But regardless whether we have real money or no money, I'm still gonna win. So I guess it makes it
I don't know about that one, but
fun for
my
me.
other pick would have been Matic. I think Matic is also due for a nice breakout. ETH seems to be pumping, and I think Matic is just, for whatever reason, not really followed suit with. I know it did pump for a bit there, but so anyways, we'll leave you with that.
I think Dot and Matic are both great projects that haven't pumped, and they can and will. Audius Audio was my other kind of more stable pick, and I think again it's down 26% on the week and up down 54 since August 16th. So it's such an amazing project. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, with that, why don't you guys drop a comment down below? Let us know what side you're on, who you tailing this week. Do you think Leonard and Flo is going to take home the dub, or are you with me and Radium? And if it's not me and Radium, you're just wrong. I can't break it to you any other way. But we appreciate it. Drop a like, drop a subscribe. Thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Yeah, thank you very much for being here, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. We'll be back sometime this week. Be blessed, and we'll talk to you soon.